History remembers Queen Elizabeth I as one of England's greatest monarchs, a woman of unparalleled power and intellect who helped shape the very fabric of modern Britain. But what if everything we know about her reign is only the surface? What if beneath the crown lies a much darker truth? A truth so hidden that it's been carefully concealed for centuries. A truth that may change how we view this iconic figure forever. What was it that Queen Elizabeth I truly wanted? Was it only power, or was there something far more sinister lurking behind her perfect image? To truly understand the darkness behind her reign, we have to look beyond the famous Armada victory and her seemingly unshakable persona. Let's start by examining the real cost of Elizabeth's rise to power and the sacrifices she made to secure her throne. Born to Anne Boleyn, the second wife of Henry VIII, Elizabeth's birth was seen as a threat to the stability of the throne from the very beginning. Her mother's execution at the hands of her father left her a bastard in the eyes of the English court. But Elizabeth was no ordinary woman. She would not be easily forgotten. As the daughter of a beheaded queen, Elizabeth's claim to the throne was shaky at best. She had to fight for every inch of her legitimacy, outmaneuvering rivals who would stop at nothing to see her fall. But what really set Elizabeth apart wasn't her bloodline, it was her cunning. Did you know that Elizabeth's rise to power was marred with deception, manipulation, and betrayal? Her court was not just a place of elegance and diplomacy, it was a den of secrets. Behind closed doors, her most trusted advisors weren't just helping her rule, they were aiding her in keeping enemies close, even if that meant pulling the strings of death itself. Take Lord Robert Dudley, one of Elizabeth's closest allies and some say her secret lover. Their relationship was widely speculated, and it's said that his influence over her decisions was nothing short of overwhelming. But was it truly love? Or was he another puppet master pulling her strings? And if so, what else was he pulling? Was there a darker agenda at play? And then there was the execution of Mary, Queen of Scots, a decision that marked one of the most controversial moments of Elizabeth's reign. Some historians argue that Elizabeth's decision wasn't just political, it was personal. Could it be that Mary's execution was less about national security and more about Elizabeth securing her legacy? But perhaps the darkest truth of all was Elizabeth's obsession with power, an obsession that led her down a path of isolation and secrecy. The more she secured her reign, the more she distanced herself from everyone around her. As Elizabeth aged, the once vibrant, charismatic monarch became a woman ruled by fear. Fear of betrayal, fear of assassination, and most of all, fear of losing her grip on power. The cost of this fear was steep. She turned her back on many of her closest friends, her court became a prison of suspicion, and the walls of her palace were no longer filled with joy, but with paranoia. Her decision to remain unmarried, to remain a virgin queen, wasn't just a political move, it was a symptom of her deep fear of losing control. Was Elizabeth truly devoted to her country, or was she terrified of what might happen if she trusted anyone enough to share the throne? Elizabeth's reign left an indelible mark on history, but what kind of legacy did she leave behind? A nation that was united by her victories, yes, but also one that was torn by her secrets. A nation led by a queen who feared not only her enemies, but the people closest to her. So what does history really teach us about Queen Elizabeth I? Is she the glorious ruler who led her nation into an age of prosperity, or is she the tragic queen who sacrificed everything for the power that ultimately consumed her? The dark truth behind Elizabeth's rule remains obscured by time and myth. But if we look closely, we can see the cracks in her legacy. Cracks that reveal a woman far more complex and far darker than the history books ever told us. Maybe, just maybe, the greatest secret of all is that power in the end comes at a far greater cost than we're willing to pay. Do you think Queen Elizabeth I was a hero or a villain? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into history's hidden truths. Because sometimes what we don't know is the most powerful thing of all.